Charles with Denson and Company, and we are going to look at a Texas property tax rate example on how the tax rates work in Texas. So there's a lot of talk about values, and specifically our company lowers property tax values. But I want to look at the property tax rate and how that works. There's a lot of numbers out there that are confusing for property owners. So we're going to switch over to my screen and take a look at an example in Galveston County. All the counties in Texas, all 254, work the same. So we'll just look at an example in Galveston and how that looks for a property tax owner. A real example in Galveston County. This is a house on Galveston Island. It's a beach house. And so you have some basic information here on the appraisal district website. Every county in Texas has an appraisal district website that must disclose a minimum amount of information about the tax appraisal and the history of the tax appraisal, as well as some of the tax rate information. Now, some sites are split between the appraisal district and the county tax office for the rates, but we'll get to that in a moment. So this is the current year, last year's value, and the assessment. And this is the final assessment. So this is actually a property that we represent, and we had gotten the value down quite a bit from about 2.7 million down to this 2.1 million, saving them about $11,000 on their tax bill. And really, when we look at savings, we need to go down to the tax rate. So each county appraisal district shows you which jurisdictions your tax bill that you pay at the end of the year, where all those taxes go. And so you don't have any control over this. This is set by the county. This is set by voters in the jurisdictions within the county, and specifically where in the county you live, you'll have different jurisdictions. So every property is going to have some sort of school tax. So Galveston ISD in this example is the school district on the island. And then there's going to be other things. There could be a community college. There could be a county tax, a city tax. A lot of times there's a fire department tax. And then most commonly in the suburbs of Dallas and the suburbs of Houston, you'll see mud taxes. Mud taxes are for master plan communities, typically where they have their own water and sewer and drainage. So they're taxing you on your county tax bill. So for the majority of people, these taxing jurisdictions will all add up to one total tax bill, and you'll pay your one total tax bill at the end of every year. And these are just the rates that those jurisdictions tax. So typically the school district's about 1%. It's the largest part of your tax bill. So the average tax rate in Texas is a little bit more than 2%. You can expect that the school tax to be around 1%. Again, very ballpark numbers. Galveston has a little bit lower tax rate this year. The total tax is about 1.72%, and that's applied to the value, the assessed taxable value of the property to calculate your tax bill. So 1.72% of 2.1 million is about the $37,000. Each of these numbers will add up to 1.72%. So there's required tax transparency. It's not always this straightforward. Galveston has a great site for this. Some of the appraisal district websites direct you to the tax office, where you actually have to go in and calculate it and manually add it up. But this one does add up to 1.72%. And it's all in one tax bill. Now, there are some jurisdictions that tax with their own tax bill, and typically where you see it is in school districts and in mud districts. They will send you in the mail a separate tax bill from the county. You commonly see it in Fort Bend County in Houston. Some of the school districts in Houston do it as well. In Collin County, where Plano and Frisco are, we see it. In Austin, we see it with Marble Falls ISD, and there's a handful of others. So, if you get your tax bill in the mail and it seems rather low, it's probably because there's another jurisdiction going to mail you a tax bill as well. Paying taxes are always due January 31st of every year. So if you ever do have a question, you have a doubt whether you're a client or not, you can give our team at Denson Company a call and we can research it for you to make sure you're paying your tax bills so you don't accrue penalties and interest. It's a very regulated system. There's no extensions. It's much different than paying income taxes. You have to be proactive and ahead of it to know what your property tax bill looks like. But generally, you want to start with the appraisal district website, and you can see your tax bills clearly from there. Now, at Denson and Company, the great thing that we do is we bring down this value, which is obviously an important part of the calculation towards your tax bill. And again, we saved this property owner last year about $11,164 because we were able to go into hearings and determine that this was the fair market value for this property. What we cannot do is we cannot change this rate. Rates fluctuate slightly. They are regulated to what they can change by. But typically when values are high in a county, the rates go down a little bit. If values are low in a particular year, if you're seeing a decreasing real estate market, you'll see that tax rate go up. It has to do with collection of revenue. Each of these jurisdictions has ranges. The state regulates those and what they can and cannot collect. Taxpayers vote on those tax rates, and those are your government services. So we see a high tax rate in Texas because we do not have a state income tax. Every county and local city does have their own sales tax, but the property tax is the main generator of government revenue, and that's where you're transparently seeing in your tax bill where your taxes are going. So again, you don't need to necessarily worry about all these jurisdictions. What I would be concerned with is your total tax rate. And then the thing that you can try to control is the assessed taxable value. And those two numbers will calculate your tax bill. And then if you do have jurisdictions that may not be included on your tax bill in the mail, you will want to make sure you're getting your school tax bill and your MUD tax bill separately. But for more than 95% of people in Texas, you get one tax bill at the end of the year and you pay it, and you may or may not pay it in lump sum. You may pay it to your mortgage company monthly. But your mortgage company is taking a close look at this to calculate your monthly payments. This is where it's derived from. It's derived from this taxable value and your total tax rate. You can sign up if you're interested in working with us. We work in every county in Texas. We go in and we reduce your value. You can sign up for free online. We just charge a small percentage of the savings only if we are successful. And you can visit us at gildenson.com.